Hello and welcome to my channel. I haven't done a video like this before, so as you can see from my eyes, I might be looking at guidelines. I have a little bit of a script that I'm kind of going through, but this is essentially the review of my thoughts after a 3,800-mile road trip over the last 2 weeks, while I spent some of the time listening to the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. And as I was listening to that book, I realized a few different things that I wanted to share with you guys. So bear with me as you see me kind of look up to my script to follow this. Otherwise, it would take me 100 hours to record this video. We'll make progress as we go. But I realized with Deep Work, it wasn't a productivity game. It was an energy management. Deep Work isn't a productivity system. It's an energy management system, because if you don't decide where your energy and your attention goes, then someone or something else will decide it for you. And so over the past year, I've actually realized I've been working on some of these principles and incorporating some of these systems myself, and I wanted to share that. Specifically, as I've been working on my data engineering, my blogging, my content creation, working on myself, working on my energy management and my attention and my focus. I thought that this trip would be a perfect time to review some of my systems and see where they were lacking. As I was going through the book, I realized that these are some of my biggest takeaways that I wanted to share with you guys. So your attention is your greatest asset. Cal Newport gives a great equation, which I hope that you kind of internalize, because it's just a good reference, which is high quality work equals time spent times the intensity of focus. So the more you spend on something and the more intense you spend, the more intense you are with it, the better those neural pathways, the stronger those neural pathways become. Deep focus isn't just productive, it's literally training your brain to be better at hard work. But that's becoming harder to do because we live in a world that tries to profit off of our attention. Maybe for you it's social media or it's YouTube. For me it was video games, it was manga, it was snacking, it was weed. I mentioned this in my default blog post, which I posted a few weeks ago. I'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out. If you don't design your defaults yourself, someone else will decide them for you. And every time we choose those distractions by default, we're training our brains away from that concentration. You're building a habit of distraction. You're building a habit of being distracted. But protecting your attention is not enough. I also learned that your concentration is also trainable. Deep work isn't some people can focus and some people can't. What it is a skill that can be trained. Your ability to concentrate is only as strong as your commitment to train it. The quality of your life is heavily influenced by where your attention goes. And like any skill, it takes time to build. You don't just decide to start running and then the next day expect that you can run a marathon. There's a process that can't be skipped. And to quote James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, we don't rise to the level of our intentions, we fall to the level of our training. And that was exactly why some of what Cal Newport surprised me, specifically with boredom. We've basically trained ourselves to eliminate every single second of quiet or boredom in our life. Every moment of downtime becomes phones, snacking, gaming, social media, weed, YouTube, whatever it is that you choose to entertain yourself with. But boredom isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's often the doorway to deep work. Cal argues that we need to improve our ability to concentrate while also overcoming our desire for distraction. And this road trip for me unintentionally became that. Instead of filling every moment of my road trip with stimulation, I had long moments of silence, especially in the car, which could only let me think deeply. At first, it definitely felt uncomfortable, especially the first day, since I drove for almost 8 hours in complete silence. At first, it felt uncomfortable, but eventually it allowed my mind to settle. And that led me to another lesson, which Cal Newport relates, which is social media isn't the problem, but how we use it is. In the book, Cal mentions that we should take a step away from social media for like 30 days and reevaluate, but he never says that social media is evil. What he does is he talks about avoiding what he calls the any benefit mindset. That's when we justify using something if it benefits us in some small way, even if it is harmful overall. So instead, what you ask yourself is, does this tool substantially improve my life? During this trip, I mentioned that I didn't smoke weed, I didn't read any manga or watch any anime, I didn't have any snacks or sugar, and I did that all for the 2 weeks. This wasn't because that they're inherently bad, but because I wanted to see if they were actually helping me build the life that I wanted. And honestly, I'd love to hear from you. What tools in your life are helping you become the person you want to be, and which tools are holding you back? Because once you decide what deserves your attention, the next step is deciding where your time goes. One of Cal's ideas is to treat your time with respect. So you ask yourself, what makes sense for me to do with the time that remains today? Over the past year, I've been incorporating morning and evening routines along with planning my days out to help reduce ambiguity and reduce decision fatigue. So I'm trying to become more intentional because not everything deserves my attention. And here's what I've learned, that structure isn't a prison. Structure is actually freedom, because motivation is reliable and structure is repeatable. If you don't tell your time where to go, someone else will. So what exactly do you do tomorrow? So if you want to apply these ideas, there are 5 things that I recommend that I've been incorporating myself. Work on one thing at a time, schedule distraction instead of eliminate it, replace your default dopamine with skill building hobbies, end your workday intentionally, and track your consistency and don't break the chain. My biggest takeaway from deep work wasn't that I need to be more productive, but it's that I need to be more intentional. Our attention is being constantly pulled in 100 different directions, and if we're not careful, we'll end up spending a life reacting to it instead of designing it. This is what this road trip reminded me of, that attention is a skill, focus is trainable, boredom is necessary, and the life that you want to build deserves your full attention. So I'll leave you with one question, which is, what deserves your attention?